Good afternoon on this summer afternoon from Glenwood Lutheran Church. My name is Pastor Mark Manning, and I'm lead pastor here. Want to inform you that on this coming Saturday, we as Lutherans don't celebrate a feast day, but we do have a commemorative day on our liturgical calendar for Mary Magdalene. And it's interesting. I want to talk just a little bit about Mary Magdalene. And I want to say two things as we think about this. First, to remind you that that Mary Magdalene is important, not a minor character really. Mary Magdalene is an important biblical figure. Mary Magdalene is mentioned in all four Gospels at the crucifixion. She's a witness to Jesus Christ's life, but also to his death. And as such, she's this important link for the proclamation of what Christ's life was, but also what his death was. And very importantly, also then, she is a link to his resurrection. When Jesus rises from the grave, Mary comes to the garden, and they're of the kind of relationship that Jesus calls her by name, and she recognizes him not with her eyes, but with her ears. The way that her voice, the way that she hears him talk to her, she recognizes more than just the name he uses, but also the way that he speaks it. She's a witness. She's often described, I should say, as the apostle to the apostles, because she takes what she has heard, and then she goes to the other apostles and tells them, this is what I have seen, this is what I've heard. So she's very important. Mary Magdalene also is not something which in Western Christianity has come to be sort of I don't want to call it an old wives' tale. More than anything, it's just this silly sort of human dressing up of the story. And what happens is in the Bible, there are probably three different women named Mary. There is Mary of Bethany, mentioned once. There is a woman who comes to Jesus who said is a sinful woman who is sometimes ascribed to as Mary. But the reality of Jesus' time is Mary is one of the most common names that you can find. This is why we have a Mary, a Mary Magdalene, to distinguish her from all the other Marys out there, and there are many. The problem is that in the 5th century, Pope Gregory preached a sermon in which he conflated these three women, thus beginning this myth and legend that Mary Magdalene was a sinful woman, and the implication is that she was a prostitute or something. It's not helped by other extra-canonical gospel that says that, well, Mary is one of the closest disciples. In fact, the only disciple that Jesus would kiss on the lips. The other disciples he would kiss on the cheek. And that just sort of ignores the fact that people regularly kissed each other, okay, and kiss each other on the lips, not as a sign of romantic involvement, but of engagement and of intimacy, but not necessarily sexual intimacy or romance. And so through the ages, Mary was described as a prostitute, and it gave it. Unfortunately, our media culture now loves to run with that, loves to, as I'm going to use this phrase, sex up the story a little bit, to make it that much more interesting. She's not a prostitute, and she doesn't have some special sexual relationship with Jesus. The important relationship that Mary Magdalene has is that she is a witness. She's the person that we depend on to hear and give witness to Jesus and his life and death and resurrection, and our faith is dependent. She is an apostle to us as well. Look her up in the Bible, study who she is, take note of who she isn't, and remember that this Saturday, the 22nd, will be the feast or the commemoration in the Lutheran